Okay, so let's talk about testing and why this is important, right? You hear me talk in all of our other videos about how you just need to pare things down to what has proven to work and just continually to repeat that, right? You don't have to do everything, and that is still true. I do encourage that every quarter, at least, you go through and start testing. And what I mean by that is mix shit up, right? Get to the point where let's find out if what has been working with your audience really continually will. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that if you know you convert more sales from email than social media, don't completely throw the strategies out the window, right? Just mix up certain things, okay? So we're going to start with social media and let's talk about that. What do I mean by testing? What I mean is that if you've noticed reels have been super successful for you, that's awesome. Give it a shot though and post just a single photo one day. Keep all of the rest of your traditional things that you know work as far as the caption length, the content, the quality of the photo, but just post one picture, right? Then another day, maybe do a carousel of photos. Try a Instagram or a Facebook Live. See if your responses have changed, right? You're still going to be sticking on the platforms that where you know your audience is, and you're going to be ignoring all the rest. So that strategy stays in play, but we're going to mix up the tactic a little bit. I also would encourage you, this would be an opportunity to try out a new subject matter, right? Let's say your business is evolving, right? And that's kind of the point as to why we do all this testing, is that we are humans. The people we are trying to reach are humans, which means things are going to evolve and we're going to change. God willing, right? If we're not changing, we're staying still, and that's not the way to grow your business or really to be a productive human in this wonderful society. So we want to test things. So you can try testing out different times of day. You can test out types of content, right? The carousel versus the single post versus a reel versus a live. You can test out, as I have been doing on LinkedIn, instead of posting a link and sending people to your blog, maybe you essentially write the blog on LinkedIn and make a really long post that's all read. See what happens. Then try adding a photo to it. Does that get more engagement, right? Does that get more views than the other one? Now, with the social platforms, we know the algorithms are constantly changing. So what really is the most successful is also evolving, and we need to adapt to it. But the point for social, what I want to get about testing is that more about how people's behavior changes. Okay, it's less about the algorithm and it's more like if all people are seeing are reels, it's real nice to just see a photo sometimes, right? It also takes a lot of the pressure off of you as the creator. You got a lot of things going on. Totally understand that. You got a lot of places to be and a lot of other activities like working in your business. So how do we cut down on the stress part? Reels may have been successful or live videos may be successful. Well, guess what? Today you're posting a single photo, you're putting some good thought behind it, and you're letting it roll, and then you're moving on. You may find that it's awesome. You may find that it falls completely flat. Okay, if it falls flat, look at why. Were you rushed in writing the caption? Did you choose a photo that was subpar comparison to everything else? You want to look at, even if it's, whether it's on LinkedIn or it's on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, still look at that grid scenario. If someone is brand new and they just come to my page and they start to scroll on my profile, is it consistent? If you want to try out a new topic, make sure it still relates to your brand, right? We have content pillars for a reason. But as you grow, you may find, I don't want to talk about this one thing anymore. That's not really where the business is going. I want to start steering people another way. Okay, start steering people another way, but do it gradually. Okay, this is also a chance to test out caption lengths. Maybe you always write novels and that seems to be a lot. And it's also exhausting. It's gotten a lot of growth for you. You've noticed people paying attention more, but it's taking more time. Something in your life has shifted. Okay, fine, start writing shorter ones. Right? Maybe then you take some of the other video tutorials I have about how to make reels faster or how to put together albums on Facebook and throw that all together and just start going visual a little bit. You may find that you don't need to write long captions anymore, You may find that you've been doing short ones, and as soon as you start running longer ones, you start getting more engagement on the posts, right? Things can go either way. The point is to see, how are we evolving as humans? Now, my favorite kind of testing. Oh, you're going to guess what it is, right? Email. Yes, absolutely. It's always email, because email marketing works, right? Unless we are selling specific products that I can go onto Instagram or I can go onto Facebook and be like, I want that, and hit the buy now, and then do all of my transactions there. Especially every service-based business, the sale is happening in an email. Even if it's on social, it may move more forward in a DM, but it's not on the post itself, right? These are PR tactics. They are brand awareness. They are community building. But email is where it's converting. So how do we test an email? Oh, the easiest thing ever, right? Let's go back to our original email lessons and think about, what is the purpose of each step, right? So you look at the goal overall. What do I want to happen with this email campaign? Let's say you want people to land on a page on your website and fill out a form. Okay. Well, the first step is getting them to open the email. What triggers that? Good subject lines. Now, subject lines are something I think you should be testing on a regular basis, right? And this is where you will see terms in your email programs called A/B testing. It's literally A versus B. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated about this. But let's say, so if you have an opportunity, you keep all of the message, right? Whenever we do testing, we only test one thing at a time when we're doing an A/B test, okay? So if you're testing out your subject line, the whole email content has to stay the same. So we start with this, you set up the A/B test, you choose that as your option, okay? And it's gonna have you walk through and set up email A, and then it will duplicate it over and have you change what you want for email B. Or depending on the program, it will just say, build it out, and then which part do you want to test? The email subject line, the email content, the email template, right? This could be simple text versus a newsletter style. Only test the one thing, because this is how we look at the effectiveness, right? So let's say we're testing subject lines. You set up the A/B test, and you should do it as a 50-50 split, right? Because that way you're really going to get the most amount of people here. The other opportunity when you're choosing your audience is that you could do a 25-25 winner. What that means, and this is MailChimp does this, I think, really clearly, is that they're going to send 25% of your chosen audience the A subject line. They're going to send 25% the B subject line, and they're going to wait 24 hours. And based on which one has more open rates, 24 hours later, they're going to send everybody else, the other 50% of your list, whatever the winning subject line is. Okay, so that you really get the most opens possible. You can always then follow up the next day with everyone who got subject line B and did not open, and resend them the same message with subject line A. Okay, this way you're really reaching everybody. But let's say you don't have the feature where you can do the A/B test because it's too expensive on whatever platform you're on, or your funds are going elsewhere, or it just seems more complicated. Maybe your brain is just like not one that works with technology that well. So here's a second option. Take whatever your main list is. I'm going to consider this one prospects. Okay, we name it prospects. Split that list in half, prospects A and prospects B. Don't do it alphabetically. Literally go export it from your system into a spreadsheet, okay? Mix it up. Resort it, not by first name or last name or company. Resort it by like address, or by, you know, assign random numbers all the way down, and then have it resorted by completely random number generator, okay? And then just split the list in half and have prospects A and prospects B. And set up a regular email campaign. Email campaign audience 1 is prospects A. Duplicate that campaign, change the subject line, and send it to prospects B, and send it out at the same time. Okay, that's the kicker, right? Because you're gonna make sure, again, the only thing we're testing is the subject line. So everything has to go out at the same time. And then just sit there and look at your 2 line items for each campaign and find out which one is getting better open rates. We're testing the subject line, so open rates are all that matter. If you are testing a simple text email right? Which just kind of looks like a regular email. It's got highlighted links and stuff in there compared to an HTML newsletter design. Then the subject lines for both are going to be the same, but the content's going to look different inside, right? You're still going to have links to all the articles that you're trying to get to. I'm going to sneeze. Sometimes our schedules don't cooperate. Sometimes it's our bodies. Anyways, you only want to test the one thing at a time, right? So with that setup, you can do still either the A/B feature, or you just do your two different lists, okay? Because the list parts are going to stay the same if you're doing prospects A and prospects B, but half of them get the HTML email and half get the other. You can also test out the color of your links. Maybe if you're seeing people not click through to whatever pages you want them to land on, the link color is wrong. Maybe the words on your buttons are wrong, or words on your link. Instead of sign up here or contact us, it should be save my seat, I want in, right? Remember, you got to change only one thing. If you're changing the color, then you do not change what the words are. They should be the same words on both, and it should be the ones you've consistently been using. Anytime it comes to changing links or design in there, what you're looking for in that case is what is the click-through rate, okay? Subject lines we talk a lot about, and I talk a lot about on social, because really you can have the absolute best message ever. But if no one's opening it, no one is seeing all of that gold. So subject lines are something you should be testing on a regular basis. And I mean, if you're sending out 3 emails a month, one of those should be testing 2 different subject lines and see what works. If you're sending out 1 email a month, then every 3rd email should be testing subject lines. Well, I'm actually going to take that back. I'm going to say that once a quarter, you should be testing the format or the color. Look at your analytics and see where are things below what you want them to be. If it's your open rate, then you got to test your subject lines. If it's your click-through rate, then you need to look at all the other things I just talked about. The layout of the email, the words on the call to action, the color of the click-throughs, okay? As well as how long the emails are. Maybe people aren't clicking through because the link placement is too low and they're like skimming it. Maybe it's all text and it doesn't have any bolded sections broken up, so they don't know what to do. And they're like, oh, that's a lot of things, right? Always make sure also to check it out on your phone, because that's where most people read a lot of email, and make sure that it is easily scrollable to get there, okay? Within the business as a whole, there are 10,000 things you can be testing. But the point of this is that remembering we want to keep our consistent strategies of what we know works. We know email converts for sales, right? We know that social media and specific platforms are where our audience spend our time. We know that's where we need to put content. We know that we need to do blogs. What we need to do is also remember that we're working with humans and we're trying to reach humans. And despite any algorithm, humans change and what's working may change. So you want to make sure that you are testing. The reality is, welcome to the marketing department. We have all of the best theories, and this is true whether it is McDonald's or it is the newest mom and pop grocery store that opened or the candle making company that just popped up downtown. Everybody has to test because we are continually evolving humans, and the way that our buying patterns change as people and as consumers mean that the tactics we use may have to be adjusted. Right? You don't have to switch platforms. Your audience is not all of a sudden going to jump from Instagram to LinkedIn, right? They're probably on both. They may gradually shift over time. But again, we look at our analytics. Are things going down on Instagram? Are we engaging on LinkedIn? Maybe things are shifting, okay? But it's going to be a gradual shift. So as long as you're paying attention and every quarter being like, well, let me try a new subject line. You know what? I don't have time today to do all this full reel. I'm throwing up a couple of pictures in a carousel. Right? Look at it as ways, not testing as one more thing on my to-do list, but this is my out on my busiest week of the year, or on this crazy busy week coming up next month, or on my vacation, I need to do one thing. I don't want to work on my vacation, so I'm going to go with a photo versus a reel because it can be done faster. Okay, so there's a lot of efficiency that comes with this. It's not one more thing. It's a time-saving opportunity that you can learn from. There you go. Let me know if you have questions.